Hey, what's up, my friends? How are you? Thank you so much for joining us on the Facebook. We go live, Facebook Live. We go live twice a week, where we answer questions all about Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, Snapchat advertising. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you're joining us, do a shout out, put your name, the company you work for. I'd love to know who's here. Who's checking out the live talks and be able to do a little shout out for you as well. Yeah, if you're watching this later, feel free at any point in time to leave your questions, even if it's already, the live portion is done. We'll go back a lot of times, look through the questions and try to answer questions that were asked later on, or sometime during the presentation, even if it was after we went live. Also, if you have any friends or people that you know that are running businesses that are struggling or want to improve on their Facebook advertising, tag them in the comments below so that they know to be able to jump in here and to be able to watch and to be able to ask the questions to help them grow their businesses. Cool. All right, so I'll get a couple updates today. I'm going to try to go through them, 2 updates and then 2 questions. So the first update is that Facebook is in the process of testing a paywall for subscription-based news. So this is something I want your feedback on. Would you be willing to pay to have exclusive access to exclusive content from certain publishers? This could be like Time or the New York Times or Newsweek, to be able to see their information shared on Facebook or to read their content. Would you be interested in paying for that, or would you feel like it should be free because it's always been free? So this is very much a dilemma. Facebook has a lot of people that are using the platforms, and the content publishers have a lot of content, so they're trying to get more subscribers. Facebook's trying to get more valuable content on the site, and what happens is the disconnect is that most people, the #1 place when eMarketer did a research study, they found that the #1 place people go to in the morning to find their news on a mobile device is Facebook. Like 37% of the people were saying that's where we go to get our news. And 22% were saying we go to a news site or an app related to news. So, definitely people are turning to Facebook to be able to get their news, and that's where they're going. So what happens is Facebook has the people that are interested in finding news, and the publishers, the problem that is kind of existed is they don't like Facebook because they're not able to generate subscription revenue when they put their content on Facebook. It's very much free. So it's either subscriptions where people are paying for a magazine or something to come to them, or through ad revenue, which is where, and to some extent, publishers actually try to double dip and get both. A lot of publishers do, or at least a lot of the older publishers do. With the internet, it's much more ad supported. So this is kind of where it's come to. And so what they've tried to do to find a middle ground is to set up this what is a paywall, that, would, basically what would happen is you would be able to get the first, they're saying up to 10 articles from a publisher for free, after which like a paywall would come up, which is basically a pop-up blocker that says, hey, if you want to see the rest of these articles, you would need to pay for it. They haven't listed what the pricing will be for the content, but they have said that they're in the process of beginning to test this, and they expect it to start to roll out in October. So this is definitely something that is up for discussion in terms of what you guys think. Is this a crazy idea? Is this a good idea? I guess from my standpoint, I can tell you the number of paywalls that I've paid for to get content in my life, which would be 0. I think it's ridiculous, and they are trying to double dip, especially when it comes to the internet. It's ad supported, and I know a lot of these names, or they're big brands or big names behind it, but the truth is, if they write about a topic, I don't mind waiting a day and finding out about another blogger or someone else who writes about the same topic. Information's information, and to some extent, I don't know. they can keep trying to do it, but it seems like a dinosaur approach that hasn't worked in the past. And it's interesting that they've been able to talk Facebook into giving it a whirl. Again, there may be some people that do it. I would imagine most of them are older than me. Not too many ones that are younger than me that would want to pay for, premium content, especially in terms of just articles and information. But again, that's just my 2 cents. So tell me what you guys think in the comments below. And yeah, we can. I'd love to hear what you guys, what your thoughts are. The second update we have is that Facebook has offered or launched a new ad placement, which is now available for you if you're doing video views advertising, where you're trying to get your videos viewed or watched. And so what happens is, a lot of times, people are grumpy because ads are just kind of shown to them all the time. And they're kind of forced on them, right? They don't have the ability to opt in or opt out. So what Facebook did is they created a new platform or a new placement called Rewards. And what this is where they're now working, and they can work with mobile developers to be able to place into a mobile game or a mobile app a sort of ad that would pop up that says, hey, would you like to watch an ad in exchange for, and this can be things like points, this can be things like digital content, your ringtones, videos, exclusive unlocked access to areas of a game or certain levels. And what happens is the person then has the ability to say, yes, I want that because getting 10 more coins is valuable for me. And I can do that in 30 seconds, pass it along, and I'm further along in the game in exchange for watching an ad. So the upside here is that people are actually opting in to watching your ads. Which means they're open to seeing what's going on, or at least, to have the ad run while they take a break or something like that. So again, it's a better option in terms of, instead of just forcing ads in front of people where they're like I was playing a game or I was doing something, now people have the ability to decide if they want to watch an ad in exchange for some digital currency or something of value in a game. So again, super exciting to see this kind of happen and to be able to watch what's coming for this and what type of things will come out of this. So, whether the video view through rates are a lot higher, whether the click through rates are a lot higher, all these things are things that should ultimately help advertisers be able to get their ads in front of the right person at the right time, where the person's like, I'm okay for watching this, or I'm open to watching this. Cool. Okay, so we had a couple questions that came through over this last week, and these are ones that I just wanted to run through a couple bullet points on what to do. But the first question is can you explain optimized bidding and how it works? And again, this is a good question. A lot of people don't really understand optimized bidding. The short version is, when the internet first started, everyone charged on a CPM basis, like, hey, 1,000 impressions, okay, cool. And then what happens was people who had websites figured out that if they put the banner ad 35 times at the bottom of the site, they'd get tons of impressions and make tons of cash. So what happened was that went on for a little while until advertisers realized, hey, wait a minute, like I'm getting a bajillion impressions and absolutely no clicks. So that's where kind of things moved back to the cost per click, where now people are like, I want to pay on an action or a result. Someone's completing what I want them to complete, and at that point they're then able to, I'm willing to pay for that if that action has been completed. So now where optimized bidding works is this kind of comes into where Facebook has taken it back to a CPM level, but what they've done is, instead of taking, so say you target people that like cats in Los Angeles, right? You may have 100,000 people. So what happens is, based on the objective that you have the objective of engagement, you have the objective of video views, you have the objective of clicks, or you have the objective of conversions. All of those are different objectives, but you could target that same audience. So what happens is, when you leave optimized bidding on, what Facebook is going to do is it's going to go and try to show your ads to the people in that group that are most likely going to complete that objective. So out of our, people that like cats in Los Angeles, if there's 100,000, as it scans that, there may be a portion of them that are very active on social media. They're liking and sharing every, cat video that they see. If my objective is engagement, they're going to start with those people first and show it to those people. But again, I'm paying on a CPM basis, but that's where Facebook calls it optimized, is because they're saying we're not going to all 100,000. We're starting with the segment that's most closely related to your objective, and we're going to build it out from there to where they may eventually reach all 100,000. But again, you're going to start with the best objective, or the best group of people that will complete that objective as they're moving forward. So to some extent, that's what optimized bidding works. From my experience, it works very well. We do see a lot of times that the results will be very good at the beginning, and then over time they'll be not quite as good, or a little less good, as it expands out, which would go to prove that Facebook's algorithm is indeed finding and showing the ad to the people that are most likely to complete that action. So again, that's what optimized bidding is. If you have more questions about it, leave it in the comments below. And then the other question I had was, can you explain how to create a lead ad? So lead ads, I love lead ads since the day they came out. There's just so much that is amazing about them. The fact that it's simple, easy to create, the fact that it lives on Facebook, the fact that the fields are pre-filled with the user data from Facebook is like a magical moment that just saves people time and gets you more data. So I'm a big fan of lead ads. So there's a couple ways, when you're creating lead ads, there's basically two things you have to do. Step one is to create the form that you want to have exist, and then step two is to create the ad. So to begin with creating the form, there's three places where you can do this. You can do it in Ads Manager, you can do it in Power Editor, or you can do it from the fan page, where you go to Publishing Tools, and then you look down under Lead Ads, and you'll be able to see that. Now, if it's your first time doing it, they'll only give you one option, which is Create New Form. Once you set that up, there's a couple of things that they're going to walk you through. You're going to name your form. A lot of times I put either the date of when I created it, or I put the fields that I'm trying to collect. So that way you can go back and be able to look at what was there. It's tricky because they give you a long line of where you can make a big title, but when you go back to select your form, they only show you a short segment of it. So what that means is you've got to get something in the front of your title that will allow you to know which lead form this is, because they don't let you actually really view it, or at least right from the title. So that's just something to be aware of. Next up, you have what's called a context card. This is something that is optional if you want to use it or if you don't want to use it. It's basically a form that appears, or a page that appears before someone fills out the form. So what happens is you have the ad with an image or a video that explains, hey, here's what's going on and why you should give us your information. A lot of times people that are doing more in-depth lead gen, or that maybe more qualified, they're wanting to add a page that says here's exactly what's going to happen if you give us your information. Here's how it's gonna, we're gonna contact you. Here's what's you're gonna get out of this. So it's basically an additional page. So you can use the ad as something to kind of get their attention. The context card is something that you can use to be like, here's exactly what's going to happen if you give your information. And it's optional if you want to use it. So you don't have to select it, yes or no. If you don't select a context card, it'll go right from the ad to the form where a person is filling out their information. So up to you. A good advice I would give is test both versions and see which one works better for you. Kind of from our end, we found that a lot of times without a context card, we're able to generate more leads. I think it's just a quicker process, and people are right there trying to get their way out of it or move on, and it's just one less step that they have to complete. But yeah, so that's it. Context card. After that, you can select your fields, and these are the fields that you want to collect from the user. Now, with most landing pages and most forms, it's pretty straightforward that the more fields you require, the less completions you're gonna get. So if you're asking for just email, you'll probably see a lot more leads come through, as opposed to if you're asking for name, email, address, phone, city, state, zip. Like then it becomes a long form. People are like, what am I getting myself into? They start to get those secondary doubts. So, again, it's up to you. My advice there is only collect the information that you need. If you're not using it, don't collect it. It's something that you can always come back to and work on later. But yeah, so the fields that you have the options for, kind of the basic ones are name, email, phone, and address. You have the ability to select those. Some of the other ones that you can select are date of birth, marital status, gender, relationship status, and then military status, which is another one that, if someone has these pre-filled, they'll appear in. And then finally, if you're doing B2B marketing, some of the options that you have are company name, your job title, your work email, and your work phone. So those are kind of the pre-selected fields that you have. If a person has filled out any of those fields on Facebook, they will automatically populate into the form. If they have not, they will appear blank, and a user will need to fill them out before they can continue and submit the form. Another option that you have is up to 3 custom questions that you can be able to ask that are custom related to you and what you're doing. None of these 3 will be pre-filled. A user will need to fill them out. The upside here is you can ask specific questions. Just one word of caution: you are not able to ask any sort of really personable, identifiable information. Something like, how much do you weigh, or do you have cancer, or like how much money is in your bank account, right? Those type of questions, if you're asking them, Facebook will block your lead form, and you won't be able to run ads. So that's something you just need to be aware of, but it is a great option if you're looking to ask custom questions from the leads so that people can be able to fill it out, and that way you can qualify them later on. I guess the last thing you need to do, you have to upload a privacy policy to your lead form. If it's your first time, you have to accept their terms of service, which says you can't sell the information to anyone else. And then you must upload a link to your privacy policy, which is what you'll do with the information that you've shared. And once you have that done, then you can go on into Ads Manager or Power Editor and create your ad. To be able to do that, you just have to select, create campaign or create ad, and make sure you select the objective, lead generation. Once you do that, it'll give you an option saying, which form do you want to use for your ads, and your form will already be there created, and you'll be able to begin running lead ads. I guess the last thing I'd say is, all your leads are kept under your fan page, back under publishing tools. So as leads are coming through, you're gonna wanna go back there to check where they're coming from, unless you use third-party software like Zapier or LeadsBridge to be able to connect your fan page with your CRM or your email system, where when an email comes through, it'll automatically send it over to those, and you can set up automatic emails, automatic responses to get it to things like Salesforce or MailChimp, or different programs that you're using to run your marketing. So anyway, that was it. Both good questions. I want to give a shout out to John. Hey, what's up? He's saying, what's up, Brian? Thank you very much for joining me. Yes, this is great. And then I see a lot of hearts from Mauricia. Thank you. So yeah, thank you guys totally for joining. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm gonna get back to work and keep hustling on Facebook ads. So cool. Yeah, again, thanks again. Have a wonderful day, guys, and I will talk to you on Friday. Peace.